We are here at the rink where the Trinity Western Spartans play. Both these young men play for the team, getting ready to head out on the ice. Both have ties to the Humboldt Broncos and that community that was gravely impacted by that disaster earlier this year. Jared, that is home for you. Will it ever feel the same?
Well, I mean, obviously, it can never really be the same. Obviously, the town has kind of changed forever. I think, obviously, there's a lot of emotions going right now, but I think that's just the starting of the healing process. And you kind of look back at the Swift Current accident that happened years ago or whatever, and they've kind of gotten back to a state where things are running smoothly, and I think. With all the support that Humboldt's got, I think that the process was just sped up, and that obviously over the years it'll take some time, but it'll get back to normal. And I think there's just a positive vibe that kind of comes after something that's so devastating. I was just talking with Logan earlier that they're gonna have a sold out barn for all their games this year and stuff like that. Stuff that we haven't seen. Since I was like a little kid when I was going to the games, they had a lot of fans out and it was kind of dying off a little bit, and now it's kind of rekindled. So it's kind of nice that way.
For yourself, I mean, you knew some of those boys. You played with them. You were on that team. You're speaking on a very positive note, but how did you get there?
Obviously, it's taken some time to kind of process things. I think there's just been. Like I said earlier, a lot of tremendous support. It was very devastating early on, and there's still those days where you kind of especially when you're on the ice, you kind of think about, the times that you were on the ice with those guys, and you feel down about it. But over the summer, and just being at Trinity out here, and having the support that we do have around, everybody's just been so good to me, and I think just a lot of those one-on-one conversations that you have, and especially when I was back in the community too, in Humboldt, just a lot of those conversations that you have with people that you haven't seen in a long time, and just you have to move on. So I think just engaging in those, and I think healing together, I think it helps everybody, and now I'm at a state where I'm comfortable with what happened. Doesn't mean I don't think about it and don't get sad. That's always going to be there. Yeah.
Logan, for you, last year you were sitting waiting for the Humboldt Broncos. You played for Nipawin. You were waiting for them to come and play you. And what was that like, sitting in the dressing room, not knowing what was going on?
Right. So just like a regular game day, getting ready for Game 6, and show up to the rink normal time. And a coach comes in and kind of tells us the news, and you hear that there's been an accident, and at first you're just thinking oh, it's not that bad, they just went into the ditch, they'll be a little bit late for the game, and kind of information keeps coming in, and you realize how bad it is, and there's nothing you can really do except sit in the dressing room and hug your teammates and just pray for the best.
How have you been coping through this summer? I mean, you knew these boys. You played against them. You're on the ice.
Just having a good support system, family and friends who you can always open up to and talk to. And like Jared said, just seeing the positive side of things and all the good things.
You guys play hockey. You're going to be back on buses throughout this entire season. Are you scared?
I mean, it's just part of the game. What happened was a terrible thing, and for that to happen, it's just a 1 in a million. There's always going to be the thought of them, but just getting on a bus, and you got to, it's part of the game, like I said, and you just got to get over the fact that it's a 1 in a million, and yeah.
Is that tough for you, Jared?
No, actually, I don't really have a fear of the bus. I think just in general, I think there's going to be more thought around it. When you get on a bus, I think there's going to be that memory of the boys or whatever, but your chances of something happening to your team or whatever are the same as they were before the accident, and they're the same now. It's the same as when you get into your car and you drive anywhere. It's like it's no different. And I think you step out your front door, you're at a risk wherever. I just think that it's going to be a little bit more sentimental, kind of getting on a bus, thinking about those guys, and kind of almost a nice thing like that. You have that memory and you have that remembrance kind of every time you get on the bus.
Jarrett, you both play for a team that prioritizes faith and believes that's an important factor in not only how you play but how you live. How does that play into everything that's happened this year?
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting question. It's definitely, like, I think throughout the process of the healing and stuff like that, it's one of those things where kind of God transcends the situation, and it's not like left up for human understanding. And I think a lot of us play that the bus accident over in our minds over and over again. Like, what if they hit a red light in Humboldt before they left, or like all those kind of factors that you think of, and it's just like it kind of gives you a little bit more comfort to be like, well, this is kind of in God's hands, and He's in control of the situation, and I think you kind of just have to give it up to Him, because you can't just process it yourself, because you're never going to come to a conclusion that is like, oh, like it's like everything's fine. It's always going to be kind of disrupted with our human understanding. I think it's good just to give it up.
Guys, appreciate talking to you today. Good luck with the season. Hopefully you bring some big wins to Trinity Western.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.